I was listening to these brothers that were talking about the Essenes. You know, they about the Essenes were living, and they was presenting it on this other brother page, who a very knowledgeable brother. I'm not gonna say his name. Excuse me if I sound my voice sound a little deeper than what it does. I'm a little tired, man, from work, but I'm gonna get this out, make it short. So anyway, there was on the brother page last week, I believe it was Friday, and they was presenting the Essenes. As you, if y'all know or familiar with the Essenes, you know that Yahshua was a Essene, a Nazarene Essene. His big brother James the Just, also, Peter, John the Baptist, Yehukanan. Them boys was Essenes. They didn't eat any dead flesh. They were against animal sacrifices. And they loved all animals and they loved all people. And it wasn't about war. And those books were hidden. They didn't want to put those books out because it goes against what's in the Bible. We know that the Bible is all about animal sacrifices, cut off goat heads with a good smell aroma up to the God. We also know that Yahshua and the books that they hid, Yahshua talks about to the Pharisees about that they served a different Father, a different God, not the Creator. Um, so with that out the way, so the brother really wasn't. You could tell that the brother wasn't there to really learn anything because he got a big congregation, he got a big following on YouTube. You know what I'm saying? He got a big following. And while the brothers was explaining, you know, about the Essenes, the biggest thing about it was them being vegetarian. And so I'm just watching the brother face, how he looking while the brothers was explaining. Like, let's be professional about this. It kind of made me a little hot, So anyway, the brothers was talking about, giving them scriptures and stuff like that. Talking about the land pen of the scribes, which we know that's in Jeremiah 8:8, chapter 8, verse 8, I believe. The land pens of the scribe, they changed laws. They changed the laws. They changed things as time went by. The priesthood was wicked. All of that. So anyway, so what the brother did was he presented, the things about the Qumran caves, about, it was and they found writings, some writings that they say was the Essenes writings in the Qumran cave. They say that that's where they stayed at. That's where the Essenes were living, right? So, with that being said, the brother went on to say, well, like, how could they be vegetarian when they found pottery in there? They found bowls with utensils and bones in it. So I guess the brother was like, how they gonna be vegetarian? But where you saying they was at in the Qumran caves, this is what they found: bones of animals. So I'm listening and I'm like, man, that's crazy because I done did my research and I did further research. But I want to say this also. If they found out that the Essenes was eating animal flesh, shit, they ain't gonna make me eat it. You know what I'm saying? They were men just like me, but they didn't. So what I'm getting at, this is what I'm getting at. The Essenes didn't live in the Qumran caves. If you do your research and stuff, it was like over there in the Qumran caves, that was like a library. That was like people where they back then in the first, second century, where they had books and had scrolls. And that what was going on. But let me show you where the Essenes were really living at. And as you can see on the screen, they was in Gedi. The Essenes lived in Gedi. All right. Let's see. On the west side of the Dead Sea, but out of the range of the noxious exhalations of the coast, is the solitary tribe of the Essenes. Lying below the Essenes were formerly the town of En-Gedi. Next comes to Masada. Pliny the Elder, look him up. Pliny the Elder, natural history book. Look up Pliny the Elder, okay? Pliny, a geographer, indisputably located the Essenes in the mountains overlooking En-Gedi, 25 miles south of Qumran. So where the Essenes was staying at, they was living on the outer skirts. They was 25 miles south of Qumran. So them bones that they found, that wasn't the Essenes, because they didn't even live there. Now I ain't saying they didn't go through there, but they didn't even live there. They was on the outer skirts. They was overlooking En-Gedi. En-Gedi is 25 miles south of Qumran, where they found that stuff at. He even anchors it to Masada, just to the south, and that is the southern tip, not near Qumran. This is affirmed in mass-scale archaeology called the Essene Find in En-Gedi. This included a very ancient temple identified as the Chalcolithic Temple, probably pronounced that wrong, 4th millennium BC, which was not built by the Essenes, but likely part of their compound in the mountains, matching their religion. Also, archaeologists discovered a synagogue with many symbols identifying these Essenes as the secret cult throughout history, fitting to everything we know about the Essenes who lived in Qumran. Right? So they was on the outer skirts. And let me read that again. Sorry. Also, archaeologists discovered a synagogue with many symbols identifying these Essenes as the secret cult throughout history, fitting to everything we know about the Essenes who never lived in Qumran. So, like I'm telling you, we know that the Essenes they purified themselves every day with a spiritual bath. So people talk about getting baptized, they purified themselves every day. And you can see that in the gospel of the Essenes, or the Essene gospel of peace. They purified themselves every day. Right? So with that being said, we see, and you can do your own research, yourself. They was overlooking En-Gedi. That was 25 miles south of Qumran. 25 miles south of that. So them bones that they found in them bowls and stuff, that the Essenes won't even live in there. That was basically like people, tourists, and people walk through and be like, well, we're gonna camp here. We're gonna stay here. That's what how the Qumran caves and stuff like that were. And it was a library for people who wanted to have books and have scrolls and stuff. Do your research on it, you'll see. So let me show you En-Gedi. And like I said before, they purified themselves in purification baths every day. Now let's look, and I'm gonna show you En-Gedi. Look it up, because En-Gedi is in the Bible also. So let's see what I'm gonna do here. Let me see. Let me stop sharing that. Let me go to this. And let me show you En-Gedi. How beautiful. And this where Yahshua and his Essenes, the Nazarene Essenes, really lived at.
Gedi is the largest oasis in Israel. It is located at the foothills on the west side of the Dead Sea and is now protected as a nature reserve. The day
You see that running water, that living water? This is where the Essenes were at, on the outer skirts, 25 miles away from the Qumran caves. The Essenes was grouped up by themselves, all by themselves. So I just want to show this, and I wish I knew them brothers that was on that brother show that night or that evening, because I would like to offer them this little research. This is just something small, this is just something small. You know what I'm saying? But one thing I want to say too, anybody can do their research on stuff, on the Essenes. But if you want to be one way with it and you're not willing to learn new information, but you're always looking up stuff to debate your own cause, of course you're going to say that, oh, well, they found a bowl with bones in it. Because that goes against your narrative, that goes against your belief, that goes against what you teach. But when you really searching and you're really a scholar, you don't let your belief get in the way of truth. You have to push your belief to the side and be like, damn, I got this wrong. Them boys, man, they really were vegetarians, vegan, and they wasn't even living in the Qumran caves. But the way I know that this brother researched, I'm pretty sure he had to come across this. But one thing I know, you gotta pick a side. And a lot of people is gonna pick that side of eating dead animal flesh. They just ain't gonna go with it. But anyway, this is where the Essenes were at, and Gedi, not the Qumran caves. Now somebody was there, but the Essenes did not fall back and cheer there. They was off to themselves.
David and Arugat streams flow year-round, resulting in dramatic falls, pools, and lush greenery. The oasis is home to one of the largest herds of Nubian ibexes, and these are often seen while hiking.
Now see, Yahshua and them love the animals. Other people want to eat them. They're my little brothers and sisters. And this is why people want to go against the Essenes. All because of sacrifices to the God. The Creator don't need sacrifices. The Creator doesn't need blood to atone for your sins. Even Yahshua talks about that in the Gospel of the Nazarenes. But they don't want that book to get out, but it's out. But people, when they read it, anything that goes against the 66 books, they say it ain't right. But we saying the 66 books ain't right. Because first you have to be real with yourself. But I just wanted to present this. I ain't doing nothing lengthy or nothing fancy. I'm just getting straight to the truth. That's it. I'm just getting straight to the truth. And your truth is what you make truth. You know what I'm saying? But just a little something I wanted to share, man. Just a little something I wanted to share.